Hi, this is Kanik, and this is my story. A lot of how we react to situations are based on previous experiences, which helps shape our personalities. This is one of the many incidents that will further shape and give a dimension to my leadership style. The year was 2021, and the entire world has just started breathing back post COVID, and international travel and local travel has just begun. It was late in the evening, middle of August, and I get a call from my operations director that there's a huge escalation in one of the verticals from an account served out of a different city. And the client is going to take back the work because they're extremely unhappy with the services. And this has been escalated to the highest level of leadership within our organization. The ask was to take the next flight to the city where this is served out of and be the recovery lead to ensure things are back on track and the client is happy. Now after I disconnect the call, there was an eerie silence. I could not believe that this was happening to me once again. A couple of years back, I was the recovery lead in another project and I was out of home for almost 6 months, and I worked tirelessly to bring the account back to normalcy through sleepless nights, long hours, working weekends. A lot of thoughts were crowding my mind, and I'm thinking whether I'm becoming a troubleshooter only, while my other colleagues gets all stable accounts to manage, and I'm jumping from one fire to another. Will this be proved fruitful in the long run in my career? Anyways, the next day I took the first flight and reached the delivery center to review the issues and challenges. And my initial observation was the team was tired. They were running around from pillar to post in multiple directions with too many leads providing different directions. And of course, there was no unity of command. We had started seeing experienced team members either moving out of the account or expressing their desires to move out of the account. We had inherited a lot of backlogs because the client had moved the work to us without having a proper communication with their team. So the challenge was evident. What we sold to the client during the sales cycle was not something that we could deliver. And on top of that, the backlogs and the client expectation mismatch actually made it even more difficult. The team was overworked, we were dealing with backlogs, and the morale was down. So I had few options to work with. Either I push the team further and get them to do overtime, weekend work, and try and kill the volume by at the cost of burning them out completely or losing out good talent, or I go back to the client and negotiate a revised timeline of recovery to get back on track. Now in this entire pandemonium, I thought that maybe I have to go a middle path and speak to the client and place some options on the table, create a revised recovery plan, which is more realistic, which aligns to the things that we can enforce on ground, tactical things, and also how we can actually engage with their subject matter experts and bring back the synergy so that we are all working as one team. So the idea was to drive that entire operating model with efficiency, and the quality of outputs are not sacrificed, but at the same time the employee experience is elevated. Now while we got to go ahead from the client and they were convinced that yes, this is the way to go, the bigger task was how do I convince my team to cover for this additional overtime with some bit of weekend work as well, and to drive this entire new operating model. Now when I look back and think what really worked well for this plan was we went ahead and aligned with the leads and the team members who are supporting this project with the plan that showed a glide path, that showed that yes, we may have to do a little bit of additional work in the initial stages, but as the volumes keep coming down, we start gradually moving into normal. The backlogs gets taken care of, and we start moving towards normal ways of working over a period in time. So since we had the buy-in from the leads and the team, because they were equally empowered to execute the plan and drive better results. So that was one thing that really worked well. The other aspect of the plan was they appreciated the entire team, that we as a leadership team were sitting on the floor driving this entire plan alongside the team members, not sitting in one of the cushy corners. So the recovery team worked really well. The time was faster than what we anticipated. Everybody was bought into this entire concept of collaboration. People actually went an extra mile uh, to ensure that whatever we have planned, we are executing to it and over delivering than what we had actually planned. So the net result, needless to say, we were out of the escalation in 3 months' time. We were able to develop a deep trust and excellent relationship with the client because they looked at us as true partners who actually are able to go that extra mile, elevate that overall experience of their employees. And one thing that really worked well was during this time, one of the learnings that I had was, that you need to really provide a sense of direction and belonging to the team. While, the client is extremely happy today and they're expanding the current scope of work we deliver for them, and adding more and more work, the team that is working for this particular client is extremely happy. So, a few learnings. One, we need to be collaborative in difficult and distressing situations. We need leaders to provide guidance and show a path. And this is not a time to democratize decision making. This is a time where leaders have to be strong and have to take some tough decisions, but at the same time take people along. Another great learning was that battles are not won at of corner offices. It's actually one in the shop floor when you actually roll up your sleeves and start working with the team. So the learning that I had was leadership has to be dynamic and situational. There are times when we have to be directive. There are times when we have to be collaborative, and there are times when you have to democratize the decision making by including everybody. But the idea is to understand what kind of leadership will work in which situation and adopt to that different situation through that leadership style. As I analyze my leadership signature, I believe sense making and relating are the most prominent aspects of my leadership. I definitely see an opportunity in visioning. Once I have something which gives me a direction. Now, in a critical situation, recovery is the vision that you have, right? In that sense, it becomes very easy for me to organize myself, focusing on the deliverables, creating a plan, creating an executable order that actually helps give direction to the team and ensure that we are coming up the glide path and fulfilling the requirements. Now, I've always been wary of failing. This is probably the child or the past that I had, that you can't afford to fail. So I always look at before getting into a situation, I look at some things which others would have done in a similar situation. That learning from others is something that I quickly adopt. I surround myself with people who are good at articulating the vision, which is sometimes difficult for me because as I said, that's one area that I need to work for. Uh, and I've been successful in difficult situations and helping others to come out of difficult situations as well. And probably that's the reason why I see my organization also relying on my abilities to navigate difficult situations as a strength, which can be widely leveraged. So that's my story. Uh, Thank you.